Hola familia y Seneca Cacona. That means hello family in Spanish and many blessings in Taino. This video is going to be a book review. It's on this book right here. It's an account of the Antiquities of the Indians by Fray Ramon Pane. It is a new edition with an introductory study notes and appendices by Jose Juan Arrom, and it's translated by Susan C. Griswold. As you can see, it's not a very thick book. There's maybe 70 something pages at the most, I want to say. Yeah, it's exactly 70 pages, not counting the appendices in the back. So it's not a very big book. It literally, well, it took me 3 days to read the book. However, I was reading it on and off because I have children, so I don't necessarily get that much time in one sitting to sit down and read. So I did take notes here. As you can see, I have my little tabs and stuff so I can reference back to it. But even though it's a small book, it is jam-packed with information about the Taino people. So it was recommended to me, and I would definitely recommend it to others. So you see me looking down because I have some notes here. Otherwise, I'll talk in circles, drive y'all crazy, and y'all be wondering why it took me 20 minutes to say something that would only take 5 minutes to say. So we could just jump right into it. Fray Ramon Pane, who is the original author of this book, was an Italian friar that went with Columbus to the Caribbean on his second voyage. He wasn't with him on the first, I don't believe. He was ordered to document Taino spirituality, society, and other aspects of their culture. I don't believe he documented very much language. I mean, he did, document some words, but he didn't go very in-depth as far as documenting the language, and that's because, in my personal opinion, I feel that that's because he didn't know the Taino language very well. He actually didn't even know Spanish very well. His what's the word I'm looking for? His native language was Catalan, and his Spanish and Taino weren't very strong at all. Now, they did have Taino that they captured and took with them back to Spain from the first voyage, that they taught Spanish so that they would have translators. Sorry about that, guys. That was my phone going off, and I record from my phone until I get a better camera, so just gonna have to bear with me in my videos until I do. But anyway, I don't remember the last thing I was saying, so I'm just going to start with the Taino language. There were many dialects, just like with the Spanish language and other languages. You live in the South, it's almost like a totally different language than when you go up north. There's a Coke, a soda, pop. There's different ways to say the same thing, and it's the same with the Taino. There were different dialects, and there was a universal Taino language, which was used among the different tribes so that they could communicate between tribes rather, but within each tribe they had their own language. And there were even some Tainos, if I'm not mistaken, that were gender specific, like the women spoke their own language and the men spoke their own language, but when they were communicating with each other, there was a more universal language that they would speak. So that's always something interesting to note. There is a lot of scholarly references in this book, or there are a lot of scholarly references in this book, which is why I recommend it. With regard to Taino mythologies, it touches on where the sun and moon come from, how the sea was made, the origin of humanity, what happens when we die, etc., etc. So that's definitely, if you're wanting to learn more of the spiritual aspect of the Taino culture, then definitely I would read this book. It talks about the Taino ancestral spirits, Atabe, Yukahu, Guacal, Makatauri, Guayaba, etc., etc., as there are many semi, which is the Taino word for the ancestral spirits. And, I'm not sure that semi is the word for the Taino ancestral spirit. It's more so the word for the physical representation of the Taino ancestral spirit, which was usually made out of stone or wood. It was kind of like a totem, if that makes any sense. The book goes into Taino social life, what cacique and bejiques are, some of the spiritual practice. It goes into semi-worship and funerary rites. Caciques are Taino chieftains, and Behiques are the Taino shaman. The appendices in the back, which isn't very long at all, has excerpts from Columbus's diary, as well as translations of Bartolomé de las Casas and Pedro Martire Yangeira, better known as Peter Martyr. Of course, Columbus in his diary wrote about the Taino people. Then Bartolomé de las Casas wrote about the Taino people. He was there with Columbus on the first voyage, I believe. And then Peter Martyr was actually an Italian that was associated with Christopher Columbus, knew him, and had access to Bartolomé de las Casas' manuscript, the original manuscript, because that manuscript is gone. We only have translations. And this book is a translation of a translation. So, you know, they say things are lost in translations, but this book does a good job of comparing all the different translations that there are. Jose Juan Arrom makes it, you know, pretty clear while you're reading, okay, this is what was in Bartolomé de las Casas writing, this is what Pane wrote, this is what Peter Martyr wrote, and based off of all of those people, this is the general consensus. And he does a really good job of, you know, pointing out where there are inaccuracies so that you're not sitting there thinking, you know, feeling like you're learning something that's not true. So, like I said, definitely recommend it. Overall, it's a good book to kickstart your learning with regard to Taino culture, and I would definitely recommend it for people who are, you know, kind of just starting out. I would really recommend it to anyone, to be honest, but definitely to people who are just starting out, wanting to learn more about Taino culture. I found this at Goodwill. Not physically at Goodwill. I was on Amazon.com, and Goodwill New York Online had this book. I didn't even pay $5 for this. I paid more in shipping and handling than I did for the actual book. So this isn't going to be a difficult book to find. I can definitely leave the title and, you know, the ISBN number and everything in the description box for those people who want to be able to purchase their own copy. And there are versions of it available online as well. You would probably have to pay. Most of the websites that I came across before I obtained my own copy, you would get like the first couple of pages for free, and then you had to pay to be able to read the entire book. So if anybody does find a copy of this for free online, please let me know. Sharing is caring, and we definitely want to make sure that the more people that want to get in tune with their roots and want to learn more about Taino culture have access to this information. And as always, I want to go ahead and recommend a Facebook group. If you have Facebook, it's called Taino 101. Definitely get on that, request to join that group. It's a very open group. There are Taino from different walks of life in that group, some in Borikén, some on the mainland being the United States, the continental United States. And the Taino aren't just from Puerto Rico. They are from different islands along the Caribbean, as well as, we are descendants of the Arawak. We're an Arawakan subgroup technically, so I'm sure that there are some, Taino in South America and other parts of Latin America. Haiti, the Dominican Republic, the Cayman Islands, lots of those Caribbean islands will have people that have Native American or Taino DNA. So take a DNA test if you're that curious. There's a bunch of them available online. A lot of the times they're on sale through Ancestry.com, 23andMe. I believe the what's it called? The National Geographic has a way to get DNA tests. Even Maury, yes, the TV show that does DNA tests to, you're the father, you're not the father. They have that website anyway can direct you to a DNA kit so that you can go ahead and get a DNA test done. I wouldn't be able to tell you personally which one's the best. And most people have only gotten one DNA test. They haven't gone to multiple sources for their DNA tests. So you're just gonna have to use your discernment and make the best guess, the most educated guess possible regarding which of those tests you feel would be best for you to take to find out, if you're Native American, what percentage Native American you are, and sorry about the background noise. It's my 3-year-old playing with the puzzle, and she's very into it and very vocal about about it when a piece doesn't fit. Sorry, I'm distracted now. I'm looking at her because she's so cute. I'd show you, but she's not wearing any pants, so yeah. Anyway, as I was saying before, I'll definitely try and put the name of the book, the ISBN number, and everything in the description for anybody who's interested in this book. And I'll try and also put a link to the book on Amazon, just to make life easy for everybody. Why not? So yeah, comment, rate, subscribe. Hope everybody enjoyed this and that it was informative. And merry part and blessed be. Bye.